Hi, this is Al Williams of Sunset Hill Solutions. In this video, I'll be talking about report bursting and distribution in Business Objects 4. And by report bursting, what I'm referring to is, let's say you have a very large report, a 1,000-page report, one page each for 1,000 customers of yours, for example. And you want to be able to split that report into 1,000 PDF files, and you want to email that report to your customers. So that's report bursting and distribution. In order to do the bursting and distribution, we have to set up some profiles in the Central Management Console. And after we've got the profile set up, we go into BI Launchpad and create some publications. Now we can also create the publications in the CMC, but we'll create them in BI Launchpad for this example. So before I get into setting up the profiles, I want to go into the users and show you what I've got configured so far. So I've got this report bursting group, and within that group I have two subgroups, one called all product lines, and by the way we'll be using the eFashion universe for this example, the sample universe that comes with Business Objects. So all product lines, and we have jackets and outerwear. So the all product lines, we have two users, Claude Noel and John Paddock, and in the jackets and outerwear group we've got four users, Anders Hedberg, Tom McVie, Tom Watt, and Ulf Nielsen. So this is important at this point to let you know that we've got these groups set up, because when we set up the profiles, we'll be assigning these groups to the profiles. The next important piece of information you're going to need to know is with regards to the configuration of one of the servers here. So I'm going to the servers in the CMC core services and the adaptive job server. Go down to destinations here. You have to make sure that you've got it configured for the BI inbox, file system, and email for this example. I previously had set up for FTP server for another example I did. That's not necessary for the examples we're going to do, but you will have to configure for example, if you go into email, you'll have to configure the SMTP settings and all that in order for the distribution part to work. So we're in BI Launchpad now. I'm having a look at a report that I've developed that we're going to use, that we're going to be bursting in the example in this video. I'll make this web intelligence report available with a link on the YouTube page. What I want to show you here is that we have a report annual sales by line and category. So we have a break on the product line and a break on the state, and then the detail is the total sales per category for the year that's selected. So for example, I have product line accessories for California, Colorado, DC, Florida, Illinois. If I go to the next page, the next product line is city skirts. So all totaled we have 12 pages in this report before we burst it. So that's what I want to show you here before we get into creating some of the profiles we're going to need. So at this point we're back in the Central Management Console. We're going to go into Profiles, and we're going to create a new profile. So we've called this profile eFashion -states. So at this point it's only created the profile. We have to go and make some changes to it. I'm going to double click it. I'm going to go into Profile Targets now. I'm going to add target. Now I have to pick the universe that we want to base this profile on, and it's going to be the eFashion universe. The class name that we're going to select will be the state. I can click OK now. So now that we've created the target for this profile, the state object in the eFashion universe, we want to assign the values. So right now there's no profile values added. So we're going to assign the user or group to apply this profile to. And in this example we will select jackets and outerwear. This is one of the user groups we had a look at earlier. Click OK. And I want to add a value to assign to this profile. And I want to select Texas. I will add this. Okay, we've got one profile value added here. I want to add another one, and in this case I'm going to choose the user group all product lines. This was another one of those two user groups we looked at the start of the video, and I'm going to assign some values here. So as you can see, I added California and New York to this second set of values for this profile. So at this point we have created a new profile. We've called it eFashion-states. We've added the target being the store.state dimension in the eFashion universe, and we've added a couple of values. So the all product lines, we've assigned the value of California and New York, and jackets and outerwear we've selected Texas. Now the important thing to remember with report bursting is you can burst reports on more than one dimension, and in this case we're going to burst the report on states and on the product lines. So far we've only created one profile. We're going to create a second profile next in order to have two dimensions to burst the report. If this is sounding confusing, don't worry, just watch it a few times and hopefully it will sink in. It took me a little while to wrap my head around how to do this also. I'm going to close this and I'm going to add my second profile for this example. The first one was eFashion-states. The next one I'm going to call eFashion-lines. So this will be the product lines in the eFashion universe. Click OK. Now I'm going to edit this profile. I'm going to go ahead and add a new target. And again, I'm going to select the eFashion universe, and the object I want now for this class will be product and lines. Click OK and OK to save. Now I'm going to add some profile values. First one that I'm going to add, jackets and outerwear is what I want to have here. And I want to assign this profile value to the group called jackets and outerwear. Alright, click OK. I'm going to add another one. For this one, I'm going to assign it to all product lines. And I'm going to add all of the product lines in here. So I paused the video, and as you can see, I've added, I think it's all product lines in eFashion. It's the majority of them anyways. Accessories, skirts, trousers, dresses, jackets, and so forth. So I'm going to click OK. So now I have two sets of profile values for our eFashion-lines profile. Close this. I'm back in BI Launchpad now, and this is where I want to create a publication in order to burst these reports. So if I go to a folder that I've called Publications here, I click on New Publication. I'll give it a title. So I'm calling this publication eFashion, State, and Lines. If I go to Source Documents, this is where I add the report that I showed you at the very start of this video. So I'll add that report. So it's a Web Intelligence report in the Report Bursting folder called Bursting eFashion. I'll click OK. I will save and close the publication. So now we've created our publication. We have to add all the attributes we need for this publication to work. So I'll just double click on the publication. So far all we've done is we've created the publication, and we have assigned the report that we want for this publication. We haven't added any recipients or anything like that. We haven't scheduled this. We haven't specified the destination. So those are the things we want to do now. I'm going to click on Enterprise Recipients. So now I have a window showing all the users and groups that have been set up in Business Objects. Just to refresh your memory, back in the Central Management Console, we had this report bursting group made up of the all product lines and jackets and outerwear. So I'm going to assign this report bursting group to the Enterprise Recipients. Go to Group List and Report report bursting, and click OK. We'll go back into the publication again. I should mention to you, after you make changes to any of the options here, and if you click OK, it saves what you've done, but it also closes this window. So you can go ahead and make all of your changes to all of these different areas and then click OK. I generally like to save things after I've done each step, just in case I make a mistake further on and have to start over again, but it's personal preference. For this example, the next thing we're going to want to do is go into the personalization area, and this is where we add the mapping. So I'm going to go ahead and add eFashion states and eFashion lines. So those are the two dimensions we created those two profiles on, and that's what we want for this example. Next, I'm going to go into formats, and in this case I want the format to be a PDF file, so I select Adobe Acrobat. For destinations, for the first part of this video, I think we'll send it to the BI inbox. So for all of the users that are in those groups that we've assigned those profiles to, they will get the report delivered to their inbox based on how we set up their profile. Some of the other options here, you can use a specific name for the report and add placeholders. We're just going to use the automatically generated name for this, and we physically want a copy of the report, so an actual PDF file delivered to their inbox. We're going to say copy. The next thing we want to do is go to the prompts area. So you see that this is coming up with a list of prompts for the report. In this case, there's only one prompt for the year. If you want to have a dynamic prompt here, for example, if you're scheduling this to run monthly and you want a prompt that's dynamic, I suggest you have a look at my dynamic prompt videos here on YouTube, because you can have that same functionality with publications, so that you can have dynamic prompts. So we'll just leave the prompt that we had before, which is 2005. For this example, I think we have everything configured that we need to in order for it to work. I want to point out a few differences though. When you create a publication in BI Launchpad, which is where we are now, you'll see all the options that are available. There's a few more that are available if you create the publication in the Central Management Console. Let me click OK. So we have this publication set up. If I go to Central Management Console now, and I go into Folders, and I go to Publications, this is our publication, double click it, you'll see now that we have more options available. For example, one of the options we have is test mode, which allows you to run the publication in test mode basically. So it's a really nice feature to have. I'm not going to go over that in this video, but I just wanted to point that out. The other thing you can do is you click on this notification option when you're in the CMC. You can audit these publications, and you can also have an email sent to some of the administrators of your business objects environment when a publication runs successfully or it failed to run. So very, very nice features for the publications that are available in the Central Management Console. Just cancel out of here and we'll go back to BI Launchpad. At this point I want to run this publication, so I'm going to right click on it, go to Schedule. It gives me the options to change some of the recipients which we already had set for the publication, but I'm going to say run this object now and schedule. So now we can see it has a status of pending. I'm going to pause the video until this is finished. Okay, we can see that the publication was successful. I'm going to close this now, back to the home page. I'm going to log off as the administrator. I'm going to log in as two of the users in I'm going to log in as users in a few of those groups to see if the bursting worked the way that we wanted it to. Having a look at the user groups here, one of the groups we used was all product lines, and one of the users in that group was Claude Noel. So I'm in BI Launchpad now, logged in as Claude Noel. I'm going to go to Documents and Inbox, because we had set up this publication to be delivered to the user's inbox. And we see a PDF file created a few minutes ago. And I'm going to open this file, double click on it. So the PDF file is opened, and I have a report that has, it looks like it has a lot of product lines, because this was the all product line group, and we assigned all of the product lines to this profile. But you see I'm only getting results for California and New York, and that's what we had set up this profile only for those two states for all product lines. So this has worked exactly the way that we intended it to. I'm going to close this. I'm going to log off as this user, and next I'm going to log in as Anders Hedberg. So we'll log in, go to Documents, we'll go to the inbox, and this user also has a report in their inbox from a few minutes ago. I'll double click this and open it. Okay, so for this user now I'm getting product line of jackets and outerwear, only those two, because we had created that profile just with jackets and outerwear and only for the state of Texas, and that is exactly what is showing up on this report. So we've done some report bursting here based on a couple of dimensions, and it's worked the way we want it to. The next thing we'll do is we'll just change up the existing publication to have it email the report, just to show you what that looks like. I'm going to perform the next few steps in the Central Management Console. So I'm in the Folders area, and I have this publication that we just created. I'm going to make a copy of it. I'm going to right click and I'm going to scroll down here to Organize, Copy To. I'll put it in the same folder, the Publications folder. Copy. So now we have one called Copy of eFashion State and Line. So I'll double click on this. It's going to change the name of it. So I've changed the name to eFashion State and Lines -email. So by making a copy of the other publication, it already has all of the information that we saved before. For example, we wanted to send to the report bursting group. It has the format, which is PDF file. So I don't have to reset all these. The only thing I want to change here is the destination. I want this now to go to email. I'm going to fill in some of these prompts here. So you can say I filled in some of the fields. I've filled in the from field. If you don't fill this in, it'll just be the default you have on the adaptive job server in your email settings. 2, this will be the email address of the person. You can CC or BCC any number of users that you want. For the subject, I just typed in report delivery dash, then I added the placeholder of title. And in the message, I just have a little bit of text. The report is attached to this email. Thank you. I can also add placeholders in the message of the email. I'm not going to do that for this example. I can zip the files or the PDF as a zip file. In this case, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to send it as a PDF file. And the file name of the PDF file that's attached, I'm just going to use the automatically generated name. So you can save and close this publication. And now I'll go ahead and right click on it and run now. I'll double click on go into history. So we can see right now this is running. So we see the result of this publication is success. That should mean each of those 6 users in those 2 groups should have received an email with their personalized copy of the report. I had all those users set up with the exact same email address, so you see I have this new email, 6 copies of it, and the title of the email is report delivery, and then the name of the publication, and I have the PDF files attached. So I can double click on the PDF file, and you can see that the report was delivered as a PDF file. So we've created, what we've done so far in this video is that we've created a couple of profiles in the central management console. We've added, for each of those profiles, we added 2 values, and we created a publication that used those 2 profiles. Each of those profiles had 1 dimension in the eFashion universe, and we're able to split the original Web Intelligence report into product lines and specified states that we picked in the profiles we set up, and it's been working so far just as we wanted it to. Now we'll look at another option. That is the example where you want to burst a report, but you don't necessarily want to send it to a user's inbox in Business Objects, and you don't want to email it. You just want to create the burst files and have them saved on your network somewhere. So I've made another copy of the original publication. We'll go into the properties of it now. And for destinations, for this one, I want to have file system, and the directory that we're going to put it in is C report output. I'm not going to change any other options on here, but you can go ahead and play around with those if you want to. We'll use the automatically generated name. I'll save and close. And now I'll go ahead and schedule this to run right now without changing any of the options. So I'll go ahead and schedule. Okay, the status is pending. Let's wait till it's finished. We can see that this was successful as well, so I close this window. If I go into have a look at that report output folder, we'll see that there's 2 PDF files. I'm just going to open up both of them. So the first PDF file has annual sales by line and category for 2005, just for the state of Texas and just for jackets and outerwear. So this is the first profile we set up. And the second report has results for California and New York for all of the various product lines. So again, just as easy to create a publication to send the burst files onto a network share so that users can pick them up from there. Okay, so at this point in the video, I've showed you how to perform report bursting and distribution by creating profiles in the central management console and by creating publications that are used to define all of the properties of the report bursting that you want to do. As you can see, when we created the publication for emailing, it only allowed us to send to enterprise users or users who are part of your Business Objects infrastructure, not external users. And you may have a requirement to distribute reports outside of your organization, and there is a way to do that. So let's just open up the original publication that we created, and you'll see one of the options here is dynamic recipients. And this is what you use in order to, if you have a need to burst reports and send them outside of your organization to users who do not have accounts within Business Objects. And that will be the subject of my next video. I hope you've enjoyed watching this one, and hope that it gave you good insight into how report bursting and distribution works in Business Objects 4. This is Al Williams of Sunset Hill Solutions. Thanks again for watching.